Hello, welcome to JAV Show. This is Jorge.
And this is Viv.
And this week, it's just us this week.
Hello.
Hello.
The JAV Show.
Yeah, the JAV Show. Do we need a recap? Did you have an interesting week? I don't think I had that interesting of a week.
Well, let me see. The one thing that would be the highlight or the most eventful thing of my week is... Oh, actually, I kind of had two. So... Or actually, we kind of have three. We went to Sylvan Lake with a bunch of our friends.
Yeah, but you guys didn't do shit.
Yeah, we just played games and or card games and just chatted.
Rstar, Butch, and Gabe just played cards the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and a couple of the other people in the group actually went to the lake and we just played in the water and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Some of the other girls just played with their babies the whole time.
Yeah, that I kind of understand. They can't really... I mean, they could, but it's harder for them to go in the water. They have a baby and stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, I understand that being... But then you guys didn't go. I was like, oh, interesting.
You know what? I've been really looking forward to going on to Aqua Splash for years.
Yeah.
But then I've learned that you have to actually swim out, as you told me. So that killed all my dreams.
Well, wait, you can't swim?
I can swim enough to survive, but
so you can't swim.
Not leisurely, you know. I wouldn't. If something says I need to swim there, I'm like,
they do give you a life jacket, but you do have to swim. Now. So it's like you would walk like 50 meters. They have like, you know, the floaties that you can kind of walk on. So it's like it's very like unbalanced. So you walk out, and at the edge of that, you have to swim another like the same length that you walked to the first part of Aqua Splash. But they do give you a life jacket.
What's the length of a lap in a pool?
25 meter on a standard pool. On an Olympic pool, it's 50.
You have to swim 50?
I think it's pretty close to 50, yeah.
Holy shit, I can't even swim a quarter of a lap. Remember one time we went swimming?
Hold up, before you go. A lap is there and back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a length is 25 meters.
Okay, so it's 50.
Yeah. So a lap is 50 on a normal size pool, and then Olympic pool is 100 meters because it's double.
Okay, I could swim about 12. Remember that one time we went swimming?
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't even swim halfway one way.
Yeah, that was 25 meters. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Before I started like kind of drowning.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't deep. I don't think it was pretty shallow. I think.
Yeah. So when I learned that we had to swim to get to Aqua Splash, I was like, okay, I guess I'm never going on Aqua Splash.
But you've used a life jacket before, right? You just float there.
Yeah, I have. I also don't really want to get fully submerged in lake water.
Oh. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I see
It's okay. It was nice and relaxing. I just kept eating really the whole day.
That's good.
We had a lot of one of our friends' spam musubis.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hood classic.
Yep. The only other two things that were highlights of my week was I caught up with a friend because she's moving out of Edmonton.
Nice.
And yeah, we chatted for I think like 5 hours over dinner, and it was really, really nice talking to her. I haven't seen her in a while. But the craziest thing is that we went to, it's not that crazy, but we went to Sang. Have you heard of Sang?
No, what is that?
It's a Korean restaurant that just opened a couple months ago in downtown.
Okay.
And their catch was that they serve a whole bunch of side dishes. I don't remember the exact price of it before, but I think it was like $25, $30 per person.
I've heard about this, yeah.
Yeah, and they give you like a whole bunch of side dishes. Yeah. 20 side dishes, something like that.
It didn't feel worth though when I saw what you got and the price you paid.
Really? I thought it was worth. I thought it was more worth than I expected because they give you protein too.
Oh, but it's like, isn't it pretty small dishes of it?
All the other side dishes are kind of small, like kimchi or garlic shoots, but then they still have like mini Korean pancakes for you to eat. And they also have actual meat for you to eat and like fried fish as a part of like the side dishes, which I thought was pretty good.
Like quote unquote all you can eat, right? Like you pay that price and you can have as many and as much of the side dishes as you want, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's just one serving of it, right? Like one round. Oh yeah, I think that's why I was like, oh, it's not that. It didn't feel worth it. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, it feels kind of average.
I thought it was pretty good, but the thing is that when I went the other day, they changed up their menu completely. Now it's $50.
Okay.
For I believe it was 5 side dishes shared between you and another person.
Okay, so $25 each.
No.
$50
each.
Oh, are they big side dishes?
It's just like slightly bigger than your normal.
Oh fuck!
But you have to share it now.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck? I suggested this restaurant because my friend hadn't gone there or tried it. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of an interesting experience. Like, nowhere else in Edmonton really does this.
Yeah.
And we went and they saw that they just changed their menu. And all their main entrees are really small portions for the price. And I was like, fuck. I was so close to just saying, like, let's go somewhere else because I don't think this is worth it. But we already paid for parking.
Yeah.
We were really just there just to like catch and hang out before.
Oh, that's so rough.
I know.
I hate that. It's just like... that's why I have this thing where I just can't go to a really new restaurant yet. I feel like I have to like give it 3 months or 4 months to let them actually decide what they are before I go.
I'm kind of glad that I went before they changed it because I thought the experience was really neat.
It's like a 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Like it's either they're really bad and then they improve, or they're like really good but then they realize that they can't afford.
Yeah, they can't sustain doing that, which I'm guessing that's how it turned out to be.
It's so rough too. Okay, like this is just me problem. It's not like anyone else's problem. But because I go out and eat I don't go and eat that often. It's so hard for me to be like, oh, let's try this new thing. Where I'm just like, I haven't had like pho on pasture in a while. Let's just go there. I know I'm gonna get a really good meal. So I was like, fuck. That's why I feel like sometimes I'm super boring because I don't do that. Like I don't go and eat as often. But
you travel a lot.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, for me, I'm so cheap at home. Rather take that. Like in Edmonton, I'm so cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you want to go and eat? I was like, I could buy a pack of sausage and, cook that up and eat some rice or whatever.
What you mean? When you think that way, then eating out really is not worth it.
Well, it's tough. It's like...
Especially when you're somebody that can cook,
Like, I have to... So, for example, I was telling you, recently I went to this Italian restaurant with Joyce and Red Deer. I can't really cook when I'm in Red Deer. I don't really have a place. Joyce is a place, but it's not that big. It's like $70, right? For 2 pasta dishes, appies. I think that's actually very average. I think that's like pretty average for a pasta meal with your friends kind of thing. 2 pasta dish, appies. But then for $70, I keep thinking to myself, it's like, dude, that's like literally 3 weeks of meal prep meat. For me, at least. You know what I mean? So then sometimes I think about it, I was like, fuck, I'm not sure it's worth it or not and shit. So then, because like, even when I make a fancier or nicer meal at home, I swear, I usually max out at like $20 a person or like or like $15 a person or something like that. And that's like a pretty good meal. Like you're like...
And you get so much more protein.
You're for sure full. Like you're beyond full. And the food... I'm not saying I do it better than the restaurant, but I'm just saying like it's good enough and you get a lot of value worth, right?
Yeah.
So then for me, it's so hard to justify because I'm so fucking cheap.
I can see that for sure though.
It's tough having that mentality sometimes.
Yeah, and the other thing that happened in my week was Lumi got surgery.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
It went well, but when I was signing all the legal papers for her to go in, it kind of scared me because they were like, oh, if she happens to go into cardiac arrest, how would you like us to proceed? So would you like us to do this or this? Does she have a death plan?
Yeah.
What if do you know if she's allergic to anything? Okay, if she starts to, if her blood pressure starts to go down, do you approve of this or this? And I was like, holy shit.
That's so scary.
Like she's just going in to get her molar taken out because she cracked her tooth on something. But to have to see legal papers and a waiver form to sign her kind of like her life away in case something happens, I was like, holy shit, I really hope nothing happens.
Dude, like I think it's... have you ever heard that horror story where that lady like brought her husky to a daycare for over the weekend because she had to go somewhere? And she came back and her husky is like dead.
Holy shit, what happened?
They didn't even cremate it. It like wrapped it. I don't know all the gist of it, but I just keep thinking back to that. I was like, dude, I like sometimes I want to cheap out on some of this horror shit, but I was like, oh fuck, I better not kind of thing. And then because of that horror story, I was like always so scared that that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you never know, right? And when I gave her leash away to the vet, Lumi started looking at me. She started panicking and trying to run away from the vet because the vet was trying to bring her in the room. And then the vet was like, oh, can you actually carry her and bring her over to the table in the back? Because Lumi just kept trying to run away and I had to do that. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Dude, Taro is not, I wouldn't say similar, but like if I'm around, he behaves really poorly. But as soon as I'm not in the room, like as soon as they carry him to another room, they're like, oh yeah, he's great. He lets me do everything. Like he lets me do everything. I know the whole time he's like super scared, but he's like scared and I'm not around, so he knows like he's kind of helpless. So then he just like lets them do anything to him.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. So I get sad, but I was like, fuck it. Like if you're gonna behave bad, like I don't have a choice. You have to like see the doctor. So usually like they have a note on my file saying like, oh, bring the dog away from him, and then you can do all the treatments and stuff. So then like literally straight up I was like, yeah, you should just take him. So then I just like grab him and I just give it to her, and then they walk away, and then like after they bring him back they're always, oh, he's so good, he was like being such a good boy and stuff. But I was like, no, that's because like I'm not fucking around. I think I'm the problem.
No, he's just spoiled. Confident because you're there.
Yeah, he's spoiled when I'm around, that's why.
Oh yeah, when she was done and she came out, she was still lethargic, but she came to me. She started whining so much, and I was like, "Oh, you poor baby!"
Like,
and
no, go ahead.
And now, since then, I picked her up yesterday at 2 p.m. And then since then, she's been really lethargic still and really slow and just laying down all the time.
The biggest problem I have whenever Tara does any of those types of treatment, I always tell him, like, hey, I need to get some probiotics for him, because he always has like such a bad stomach afterwards, because they usually give him antibodies and stuff, and that's usually bad for your stomach, like regardless of animal or human. And then he'll just be like, I don't know, he'll just have a really bad digestive tract, so I always like warn them ahead of time.
Like you ask them for probiotics?
Yeah, or I like tell him like, hey, he has stomach issues usually when he gets any treatment, so just make sure you like do stuff that doesn't affect that. Right?
Oh damn, how do you know? Because of his poop?
Yeah, it's just like past experience. It's like actually it's something similar to me. So like when I get anesthesia, I need gravel with it, because I get I get like nausea with anesthesia.
Oh, interesting. This is Lumi's first procedure ever, so I don't know how she's gonna do, but so far she's better than what I expected her to be, but she's still like really lethargic and really sleepy and doesn't really do anything and whines every once in a while. Yeah,
you know, that stuff's tough too. Like, for me, I'm lucky. Like, our mutual friend is like, she works at the vet, so then she like helps me like take care of Tara whenever I bring him in and stuff. And I don't ever really complain about the price, because I'm always like, fuck it, like I wouldn't want to give him any lesser care.
Yeah.
But it's so weird when it comes to me. I'm like, dude, I want generic everything. I want the fucking cheapest shit possible, because I don't want to fucking pay that much for this stuff. But as soon as it's Tara, I was like, fuck, man. I was like, whatever. Here's the credit card.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, god damn it.
I brought her in and I was like, okay, whatever you guys need to do to fix this and make her like perfectly healthy, just do it and I'll pay for it. I'm not gonna ask any questions.
Just give me my dog back.
Whatever medicine you say she needs, whatever, anything, just give it to me. I'll say yes. And
but sometimes they do ask for like above and beyond tests and stuff. I usually say no to those. But it depends. So like I have pet insurance, which I kind of regret buying, but I've already been with them for so long, so it's kind of like there's no point in quitting now. It's like you already it's like
sunken cost fallacy.
Yeah, there's that sunken cost fallacy, but then it's also, if you do leave now, it's further sunk cost fallacy. It's kind of like they won't ever give you a better rate, because you've already been them forever, so then you're always gonna get the best rate right now. And then the problems that statistically speaking, the chances of him having issues is going to be more and more frequently, because he's getting older now, right? So it's like I already paid the years that nothing really happened to him, and I already paid the insurance. So then ideally it pays me back in the later years. That's usually how it should work, but obviously I'm not a fan of insurance in general. I think insurance is kind of insurance is essentially gambling, but like even worse odds than gambling.
I agree. It's kind of a scam.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest scam ever, and it's like, yeah, it's dumb. But so if that year, if the deductible is already up, then I'm like, do everything. Like, fuck it, I already paid the deductible, give him the best treatment ever, as long as you're willing to sign that this treatment was necessary, which they always do, right? They usually just lump it. They just said this was how much the treatment. They'll itemize it for you, but when they send to insurance, they'll just say like, it's this much for this, and this was why. Right? So then after the deductible, I'm just like, fuck it. Just bill me whatever. I already paid the deductible. Max it out. I don't give a fuck.
Give him the top line of the care.
Yeah. But anything before deductible, I'm like, do I need this?
Can you take $1 off of that? I don't think I need that.
This doesn't look right. Come on. But they're usually pretty fair, I think. I could be scammed my whole life, because I never went to any other vet, and I've never like looked at other prices. But for me, it was like, oh, my one friend works there. They've always been pretty nice to me. They've never treated me poorly. So it's kind of like, I don't, fuck it. Like, if I do save money, it won't be much. And it's like a relationship I'm not willing to like damage for it, right? Like, they know every single vaccine, every single visit was from them, right? So then it's like that rapport we have.
I know Lumi's vet is a little more expensive than your average vet.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the area and it's the vet itself. Like, they're kind of known to be a little more expensive. But I didn't go because they're known to be expensive. I went because I heard a lot of good things about them. And Lumi's gone to them ever since. So I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And the other thing for me, too, is like the vet I go to is a 5-minute drive from my house.
Yeah, it used to, that's also another reason why it used to be like, closer to where I used to live. Yeah,
like especially some of these things are so unknown.
Yeah.
Because I think when I first got Taro, as my first dog, I didn't really know this stuff. But sometimes it's like, oh yeah, can you like pick his poop and we can like examine it to see if there's any issues with it, right? Well, it's like if I had to drive half an hour with fucking Taro's poop in my car, I'd be kind of pissed, right? But it's like only 5 minutes away. Everything's a bit more convenient that way.
That's true. Yeah. Lumi's vet is like 23 minutes away now.
Yeah. Where you used to live, it used to be really close. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how she's been.
Nice.
She has to go on soft food for the next 5 months. Or not 5 months, sorry. 5 weeks. Sorry. 5 weeks. And so I made this whole pot of... Lumi hates it when her freeze-dried food is softened with water.
Yeah.
So I brought some actual ingredients like sweet potato, broccoli, carrots, ground turkey, ground beef. And I cooked all that and I blended it all together. And then I did put some of her freeze-dried food in it too, and some omega-3 oil and all that stuff. And I put it in this giant Tupperware container, and it smells so fucking bad.
Oh god!
But she loves it.
Oh, that's good then.
Which I'm like, okay, that's good, because I know if I just softened her freeze-dried food, then she wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, Taro's so as a puppy, he never liked soft food, which was so weird because apparently like soft food is considered like a treat, like a good thing, right? Like a good meal, like fancy feast, right? But he always fucking hated it. He always rather preferred kibble.
The driest, hardest shit is their favorite.
He always loved that shit. So I haven't tried it when he was older, but maybe I should like get him like a fancy feast one day and see if he actually likes it or not. But I mean, I feel like he has such a sensitive stomach it's kind of hard to.
Oh yeah, it's kind of risky.
Well, it's just like, for example, of that day we had a barbecue, and my niece loves storing food for Taro. She'll purposely ask for more food. She'll put it in her mouth. She'll watch you, and then when you look away, she'll throw it at Taro. And then I swear every time we have that, like the next day, Taro's like stomach is like woozy, and he's like a bit more tired.
He's like so fucking worried.
Yeah, so he has like a super sensitive stomach. I feel like, at least. So that's why we usually don't give him anything. Like my mom would just give him like usually really light things like veggies, because he doesn't even want it anyways. So then like he'll beg my mom for food, and she'll give her like she'll give him like a broccoli, and he'll be like, oh no thanks, kind of thing.
Like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. But when when we are at a barbecue and he like, he's like vacuuming up stuff, dude, the next day I know it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna have the shits and all this stuff. He's gonna be lethargic. It's just like the usual.
Fucking worth it.
Yeah. I don't think anything interesting for me this week. I did get new climbing shoes. That's cool. I got baited by.
I heard they have to be really fucking tight.
Yeah. So a lot of shoes use European sizing. So like I'm normally size 9. I think my normal climbing shoes is like size 8 US. And then my new one's like size 7.5 US. I got baited by a friend. He was telling me, so I tried on his shoes and I was like, oh, these are so nice. Like they're so comfortable, because my shoes, my old shoes is a very aggressive shoes. So that means it's going to hurt a little bit more, but you get a bit more performance from it. But I was like, fuck, I want a more chilled shoes. So I bought the same as his, but when I was about to buy it, he's like, yo, you should buy half a size down, because like when you break it in, it's going to like feel even better. And he's like, if you don't like it, I'll trade you mine. I was like, oh fuck, I really liked yours, right? So I was like, I bought it, but I was like, it's pretty painful right now, but I still have to break it in a bit. So I'll see in the next like 3 or 4 sessions. If it's still super tight, then I'll like take him up on his offer.
Is there something you can do to break it in even further? I heard for ballerinas, in order to break in their slippers, they usually literally hold it and beat it against the floor, or use mallets to hit against
to get it softer.
Yeah, to soften it and literally physically break it in.
I don't think that'll work. Just because like there's like special rubbers and stuff they use for this stuff. So like one of the problems I had before with my shoe is that it stank. I think I told you about this. Yes. But I can't put it in the sun because again the special rubber and all that stuff. And
did you order the charcoal patch?
Yeah, it actually works pretty well now. But I had like a whole regime. So like I took my shoe, I washed it, which is something they actually don't recommend that often because there's like special glue, special rubber and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I washed it and then I tried to dry as much as I can. It still kind of stank. And then I filled it with baking soda.
Yeah.
And I just left it for like three days. And then I left it outside, not in the sun, but in like the ventilated air.
Oh, why not in the sun?
Because again, with the sun and the material they use, it's not compatible.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of like you can't put your gaskets or your O-rings in the sun because it will actually degrade, and it's a type of rubber. So I'm not saying it's the same rubber, but it's still rubber, so it could die from it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I blew it out, and then now I start to use a charcoal bag, and now it's starting to be more like stable. But I also started using socks again, and I'm just like suffering more because the reason I didn't use socks for a while was because it was hurting my feet so much. But now I think the stank. No, it's so climbing shoes weren't designed to wear for you to wear socks. But if you do, it's up to you. Like there's no like hard rule or anything like that, right?
What about really thin socks?
Yeah,
like so that's socks that they wear when girls wear flats.
Yeah, but if your feet's already hurting, like that little bit of I know it's not a lot of thickness. It just hurts,
adds to it.
Right? Yeah, it just adds to the pain. But I've gone back to socks. I was just like fuck it, I'll just suffer. And then now with these new shoes, I'm trying to break it in, so it's pretty painful for that right now. But yeah, other than that, nothing much. Like my boss was off work this week, so I literally had fuck all to do at work. I actually started doing this like prep course to do this Microsoft Power BI like professional certification. But I don't think my company is willing to pay for that test, so I might just have to pay for it myself.
Did you hear back from the level or
No. I don't think they're gonna send me because I still have a full-time job. But like, hey, it's kind of reassuring. So like, whenever you think, or I think we've talked about this before, the fear and whatever that you think about or imagine or the anxiety usually comes from the worst case scenario. So if you can already imagine the worst case scenario, then it may feel less anxious.
Yeah, and what you would do in the worst case
scenario.
So
like knowing that, it kind of makes me feel a little bit more relieved because like, okay, the worst case scenario is I get fired from my job for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then I can't find a job. I mean, if that's the worst case scenario and I know that there's this program out there, I'd be like, that's kind of cool because if I did get fired, I would fit that program perfectly. Like I've worked for 3+ years and it's like easy for me to train into another field.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, it's kind of nice knowing that. Now I'm not saying I'm going to like purposely get fired or anything like that, but I mean, severance is nice.
Yes.
But it's nice and relieving for me. But for myself right now, I'm trying to learn some of these skills on my own time right now because like I have a little bit of time at work, which is pretty cool because I don't know if I told you this before, but in our company, we have an office in Toronto and they work with like a different joint venture thing.
Yeah.
And they have like a whole team. They have like, I think like 4 Power BI pros and like a bunch of analysts, and they built this really cool dashboard where you can like see all these metrics and shit. And then the other week they showed us a demo of it. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, one, I was like, this shit they do is so cool. But two, I also like thought to myself, like, I actually don't know as much as I know after seeing that. But then this past week, I actually learned all the tricks and stuff to do exactly what they did, just on my own, like through like YouTube videos and shit. And then,
good job.
And then when I think about it, I was like, oh shit, I could like literally do what their team's doing right now for our company if we decide to go that way. Which is like, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I'm able to like learn that and apply it properly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all for me. Climbing's been really fun. I've been successfully climbing now. Like I think there was a good 3-4 months where I just can't top out any climbs. And now every session I'm getting at least 1, sometimes 2.
For V5s?
Yeah. Like my goal for the end of the year was to do 50% of the V5s. So if I went that day to the gym and I tried 4 V5s, I can do 2 of the 4. That was my goal. I was like, if I can do half of all the V5s I try, I think that I'm like, I can say confidently that I'm a V5 climber. Right? Like being able to do all the V5s mean you're not really a V5 climber anymore. You're actually edging on V6 now.
Yes.
Right, because you're able to do all the V5s.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
So being able to do, in my own metrics, being able to do half of the V5s I try, at least on that first session, means I'm officially at that level in my own opinion.
By your metrics.
Yeah. Which is good because right now I'm at like 20-30% actually. So like every 4 I try, I could do at least 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I'm actually getting pretty close. I'm almost there, I think, which is nice.
That's exciting. Is your back fully okay now?
No. That's still fucked, but that's fine.
You don't get scared every single time you drop?
No, that's not the stuff that affects it. Like this affects it. Like sitting affects it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's like at work I have a stand-up desk, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But sitting, like arching my back when I'm sitting is bad for it.
Yeah.
Right now my workout is devoid of any crazy hinges on my back.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most I do is like kettlebell swing with like pretty light weights. Other than that, there's nothing that really stresses my back out, which is good. Like it's something I designed for, right?
Yeah.
So right now climbing, not really. Like there's very few moves, and I know those moves that I shouldn't be doing, and I just pretty much avoid them, kind of thing. So not too bad on my back. It's just like stuff like this, like sitting at work all day or hunching my back all day. That's the stuff that really kills me. Like if I went on a long 8-hour drive, I think I would suffer a bit. But like it's also being smart about it, right? Like if I have to drive for 8 hours or I have to sit on a plane for 8 hours, if I bring my like lumbar support pillow, it's gonna help a lot more.
Yes.
Right? So it's like I just have to remember to bring that shit. Or if I don't have one, like you can roll up a towel. Just like make sure you think about those things before I go, kind of thing.
Are you doing anything to?
Yeah, I do my it's called the McGill Big 3.
Yes. What is that?
It's side plank.
Okay.
I forgot what the second one is. It's kind of like a get up. It's not really like a sit up, but it's like you lift your leg and your head, but you don't actually do a sit up, but you're just like lifting the two and you're like flexing your core.
Oh, I see. And you're pressing your back into the floor.
And then bird dogs. Those are the McGill Big 3s.
What's a bird dog?
It's like Superman, but like on your knee and hand, and then left hand up, right leg out.
Oh, I see. I see.
So McGill, he's like a back specialist, and then he's just saying like this is a general good back exercise for everyone to strengthen. It's actually not to strengthen your back, but it's to strengthen your core, so your core will be used in place of your back in a lot of stuff. So like instead of like putting your back into it, you put your core into it, which is less likely to have that type of injury. Yeah, so I've been doing that every day for like the last 3 months. Like literally I think I skip at most 1 day a week, and that's just for whatever reason I couldn't do it. But every workout, every run, like I would go for a run and then I'll do the McGill Big 3 after.
It's pretty good.
So it takes about like 10 minutes to do all 3 of those with like proper form and stuff. So it's not too much of a commitment, but that's all I've been doing. I don't know, like I felt like when I went to physio, that's literally all they were like. Those were the types of exercises he recommended, and other than him like pushing me and doing a little bit like chiropractor stuff, like there wasn't anything else they were really helping me with.
Yeah.
The other thing I do is like before I go to bed, I have a heat pad, and I just put that on my back while I read my book, and then when I'm done reading my book, I just take off the heat pad and then just go to bed.
Oh, it's pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's just like literally every night it's a routine. I just like throw the heat pack, turn on the. It's like a electric one, so you just turn it on.
I've accidentally left the heat pack on for too long, and I like burned my skin or some shit.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad.
It looks like I get these red rash marks.
Yeah,
on my skin.
it's like almost like hives or something. Right?
Yeah.
No, I've never done
so good,
that, but yeah, it feels really good. It feels good too because like I'll have the heat pack and I'll lay on it, and then I have 2 spots. Like one is like on my lower mid back, and then I move it down to my lower back / butt, and then when you move it, the bed below got so hot.
Oh,
and it feels super good there. Yeah, it feels amazing.
That must be really good.
Yeah, so that's my going to bed routine. So it's good. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think one day eventually I will go to a better specialist. But for sure, I won't go to anyone that's not a specialist anymore. Like I want like that's the back guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
not the physio guy. I want the back guy, the guy who specializes on backs. But I'll see. I'm taking strides.
I would take a lot more care to find the best specialist that I can find for my back too, because I feel like back injuries are quite serious.
Yeah, it's cool because like McGill, again, the guy I'm talking about. I don't know if his last name is McGill. I think his last name is McGill. So he's the back specialist, and he actually trains people. So like people who he's trained, they get like a certificate, and then they also get like a thing on their website saying like they were trained through the McGill program.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So there's not many of them, at least in Canada. In like Edmonton, I think there's only like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
That has been through that program. So I'm tempted to go see them, but
that is really cool.
Yeah, I'll see you when I have time. Anyways, I pitched a cool idea to you, and then I think Viv talked something about to me that we want to talk about. So first is the idea I've pitched to Viv. I think it's an amazing idea. So guys, this is a reality game show idea, and these ideas come up when I'm like randomly walking Taro. So I just like think about it. I was like, oh fuck, that's a really good idea, and I just like draw it down. So this one is, you guys imagine a reality game show where couples have to calorie count as a team. Okay, so this sounds boring at first, but just imagine you as in whoever that's listening, your maintenance calories is 1,500 calories, and you're trying to lose weight, and my maintenance calorie is 3,000 calories, and I'm trying to lose weight, right? So combined right now, our maintenance is 4,500, but imagine we can only get 4,000 calories a day as a team. So that means if I overeat, you cannot eat as much. And if you overeat, I cannot eat as much. But the whole team aspect is that we're a couple, right?
Yeah.
Like, as in, we fuck at night, we do all the couple stuff, like, as in, like...
Don't use too much energy, I know you're gonna eat later.
Like, shit like that, right? So then, as a reality show, obviously reality shows needs drama to it, right? And that's the drama portion, is that you can now see who loves food more than their lover. Or who values their lover more than their desire to eat.
I'm fucking hungry.
Because sometimes that desire to eat is insurmountable. Like, I've had some hangry situations before. Maybe less so now than when I was younger. But if I was younger, I think I was like just more hormones, more emotions, less understanding of my brain.
Yeah.
I would go ballistics.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be insane. I'd be like, no, like, I want my Whopper or whatever the fuck that was there, right? Or
I
like,
want this Big Mac parked in your little garage.
Right. So then that's the crazy part, because now you have a good goal. The goal is, let's say, like, you know, the couple's maybe a fat couple, or maybe one person of the two is a fat person, right? And they want to lose weight, but now they have to do it as a team. So it comes to mind that will it help them more or less? So for example, if it was me, I've meal planned forever, right? So if I did it with Joyce as a couple, I would be like, okay, like, I think I would be able to eat less, and I would like mentally think about it. It's like, okay, don't eat that fucking bag of chip because that's less for her to eat, right? Like, I will keep that in mind and stuff. And because I've meal planned and counted my calories for so long, I feel like I'd have a really good grasp on it. But if someone didn't, that's some drama coming up.
Imagine she made a meal for her to like come home later to eat. She perfectly counted the macros. She's like, all right, I should have this much left in the day. And you're like, I'll just have an extra couple of chips.
Boom. And then her entire fucking meal's gone. She comes home starving. Some shit like, could you imagine your first day of challenge? Let's say this person is not that educated on food health and they just make like a nice breakfast. Boom, that's all the calories. That would be insane.
You ate what?
That would be some crazy drama shit. That'd be so cool. I mean, this could only get so entertaining, right? Like, I think it'd last a season or 2 at most, but that'd be such a very interesting show to watch. Just because, I don't know, I do feel like people in their hungry state are just like different. They're like a different beast, right? But then now you have to like ask yourself, do you love food more than you love your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, whatever it might be, right?
That'd be pretty fucking funny if because you're in a relationship with the person that you're doing the challenge with.
Yeah.
Imagine they initiate at 9. You're like, you didn't let me eat my fucking sandwich, so I can't. Fuck. I have no energy.
Dude, that'd be fucking wild. Could you imagine they going to a restaurant together? This is the situation. Be like, oh no, honey, you can't get the chicken waffles because of this, right? Or if they did order the chicken waffle and then she's just looking at the menu, she's like, I'll get the water, please. Dude, that'd be fucking wild.
And then she's like, can I have a bite of yours? No, because you fucking had a meal yesterday. And I had to starve yesterday. Drink your fucking water, bitch.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine how petty they fucking get. Someone's like holding like a bag of like Chips Ahoy, and the other person just comes and slaps on their hand. Fuck off! That's my salmon. That'd be so funny, dude. Oh, that'd be hilarious. But that would be also a potentially feel good story, right? Because technically, it's almost like the prisoner's dilemma thing. If they both do what their calorie says, then theoretically they'll both suffer about the same amount. I know everyone like deals with hunger differently, but calorie wise, energy wise, they would suffer about the same amount, and they would, if their goal is to lose weight, they would lose weight together.
Oh yeah.
Like if a team is just like super into it, then they could actually be a success story.
Imagine someone just fucking blazes.
Oh yeah.
And then
fucking a whole bag of Cheetos, and then she comes home and like,
can't eat for 2 days.
oh yeah, if we count by weekly. Oh, that would be
Holy
insane.
shit.
Like, oh, you gotta fast for 2 days now.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting reality show. I think that'd be such a cool game show. That'd be a lot of drama, but it could have a feel good side of it. But 100%. If I knew someone was that disciplined and like able to do that, they're not going on the show.
Oh yeah.
You have to cause the drama, right? You have to like induce drama. That's what in my opinion, that's what reality shows do, right?
I think they do.
Like if you're too boring, you're off the show.
Yeah, no one will remember you on that show.
Yeah. So you have to be like, if you're too good at Survivor, you're never coming on Survivor again.
Oh,
is what I think.
They have to like struggle and come back.
Yeah, like you've never seen Bear Grylls on Survivor for a good reason. And now I'm not saying Bear Grylls is the best like surviving person or survival person, but if you had a really good survival person, they would just like fucking go out on their own and just survive.
Yeah, he wouldn't make the show entertaining in that way.
Yeah, like there'd be no drama. He'd be like, strict on the dot. This is what I need to do. Oh, great, I'm eating good because this is what I did. I set everything up nice, right? Or like, oh, boom, first day, fire. First minute. Survivor always takes them like fucking 4 episodes just to get fired or some shit. Or like fucking hours or days.
He's like, have my food, have my hut, I have everything prepared. I'm good for the next couple weeks.
You ever see those videos where it's like these people go in nature and they build like a hut in nature?
Oh, yeah.
You just imagine him just doing that. He's just like building an entire fucking house.
The show shows everyone suffering, and then it cuts back to him just peacefully living in his hut for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and it's like 1 weekend. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's coming. I was like, "Oh, I built the forge so I can start making metal stuff." I was like, "What? This guy's going into the Bronze Age already." He's not even fucking surviving.
To my fur training post.
Yeah. I mean, you can see here all the wood I already split.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if that happened. I think there was a show I talked to Joyce about it. It's Alone, I think is the show.
I don't watch reality TV.
Yeah, it's called Alone.
This is the one where you drop someone off in the middle.
Yeah.
Wait, you were telling me.
I was telling you about this. Yeah. Where pretty much you get 10 things. So you get to pick 10 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like sleeping bag, whatever else, right? Just 10 total things. It has to be within reason, right? You can't say like a camper van or something like that, right? So you get 10 things, and they drop you off, and usually, from what I can tell, so I've never really watched this show in depth, but from what I can tell, it's usually between like fall and winter. So it's like starting to get cold. So it's not easy, right? Yeah. And it's usually in a place where it does get cold, right? So it's not like Mexico Beach or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then they check up on you, I think like every day or something like that. But you have to film yourself. You like, there's no camera crew with you. You're filming everything yourself, and you're trying to survive. Yeah. And then there's this one guy, which I thought was like the GOAT of the show, where he killed a moose. He killed a moose, and actually recently I just heard another podcast with him talking about it, and he was saying the hardest part of the show is like not knowing when you win, because technically it could go on forever. Yeah. Right? As long as there's more than one person left, it could just keep going on until there's only one person left, right?
And imagine both people killed a moose. Yeah. And how long do you go on for?
So even after he killed a moose, his whole mentality was like, okay, I'm gonna try to survive for the next 6 months. Yeah. So like, I think he topped out, or I think the longest anyone survived on the show is 100 days, because in that season they capped at 100, which he said is like an even easier challenge. Like if you know you have exactly 100 days, you can ration out your food exactly for 100 days, right? Mm-hmm. But for him, I think he lasted like 70 some days, But so 70 some days is about 2 and a bit months.
Yes.
He said he was mentally and physically ready to survive for 6 months out here.
That's crazy.
Like, he had enough food stored. Like, the way he was calculating everything, he knew he could survive out here for the next 6 months, other than like some crazy accident, right?
Yeah.
He knew that he could probably survive for the next 6 months. I was like, dude, that's fucking wild. He was also saying on this podcast where he on the last day of that show, so the last day of the show, they'll call and be like, oh, hey, you won, we're gonna pick you up now, right? He weighed the same as he weighs now, so he didn't actually like,
holy shit,
he didn't
that's
actually
impressive.
lose weight, right? Because a lot of people in the show, they lose a lot of weight because they're not getting enough nutrients. He's saying like he weighed the same amount. Like, he just ate, like he ate all day. He just pretty much, after he caught the moose, he just went fishing every single day. He just went out, fished. If he did catch a fish, great, even more food. And then I think he started like drying his fish so they preserve for the winter too.
Damn, that's
so
impressive.
like he caught even more fish than he needed to eat, and he was like continuously eating the moose and stuff. I was like, dude, this guy's fucking wild. But the cool thing he was also talking about, where he was saying like you can't survive on rabbit. So apparently, rabbit is pure protein. There's no fat in it, and you can't. Like, he was saying, like, you just don't have enough energy if you only eat rabbit. Like, you need fats. Like, there's just not enough fats in it. And he's like, that's something you really, really need. So
did he know this going in?
He heard a rumor about it.
Oh.
So he said after the first week, he was eating rabbits. Like, apparently he just caught a fuck ton of rabbits like, all the time, right? So he's eating rabbits every day. But he was like, he was losing weight because like it was only rabbits, right? So then he knew he needed to catch something significant, which is why he started building things in his area to lure moose.
What did he build?
I have no idea. I have no idea how the hunters do it. There's like certain calls you can do. But there's all these little things he was talking about. He's like, you have to set up your tent in a certain area so like whatever wind blows, it blows to you and then to the lake. So then the moose and stuff can't like, smell it. So like the very first day, he already thought about that before he set up camp.
It's crazy. I would have just been like, this spot looks nice.
And then he also thought like, where's fresh water? You want to be relatively close to fresh water. Like, it's okay to hike for fresh water, but you don't want to hike like that much every single day. Because every calorie you use is calorie you may not get if you don't find big game or anything like that, right? I was like, dude, this guy's... How
did they know that it was fresh water? Or what if they replaced somebody where there... What if they were placed somewhere where there wasn't fresh water?
I'm sure there's like probably an unspoken rule where like they don't just try to give everyone chloria on the first day. You know what I mean? Sense. Like they don't put them in Flint, Michigan or anything like that. Right? So I'm sure there's like an unspoken rule that...
Survive in the city. We turned off the water.
Everyone's like, please. Everyone's just begging instantly. So like his background story, which was super cool, was that he... I think I told you this before, but he traveled around America by train. Like he just like hopped onto freight trains.
Illegally?
Yeah. And then he'll like get to a city, whatever city it is, or town. And then he'll just work, make some money, eat, and then hop on a train to go somewhere else, wherever he wants to go. And he did that for a year with his brother.
God damn.
And then I think somehow he had like a relative of a relative that like has a village in Siberia. In Russia, and he's a pretty wild guy, so he's like, oh yeah, I'll go there and just help out and just like learn the way of life, right? So he had to survive out in Russia like that, so he learned a lot of survival techniques from that. And then after that town and village thing, he also knew another guy who does fur trapping, and what that does is he has to walk between these cabins between these mountains, right? And then they just have traps, and then they catch stuff and they walk back to their cabin. And you don't work with a partner, you work by yourself. So like it's like 3 cabins, 2 people. You just walk between your cabins, but this is between mountains. Like this is like crazy treks, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So he pretty much had to learn to survive by himself in the mountain. Even with a cabin, it's still kind of tough and stuff. And just literally figure shit out.
God damn.
Yeah. And I think like there's several times he had accidents, like he like I think like tore his like meniscus and shit like that out in the wilderness where there's like no hospital and shit, right? So it's like it's not just like he learned the skills, but like the mental fortitude he has, because he survived through that shit. So I think to him like this challenge was nothing.
Like I'm so sure.
Like just the way he knew how to prepare, just the shit he's already been through. It's like, oh, this is nothing.
Hunting in the mountains and having to do all that stuff in the mountains and hopping trains. And just living life that liberally.
Yeah. The other thing he was telling in the podcast was like, cabin to cabin, like there's this map, but you don't have a compass, and the map isn't like a real map. It's like you see some signs. It's like, oh, there's this rock here and shit. You know, it's like one of those like, janky maps, right? So then I think from the first to the second cabin, he like lucked out and he just found out how to get there. Like he just like followed these paths, and then the second and third he got lost, and he started getting really thirsty. So he tracked down the mountain to the lake so he could crack the lake and drink some water, and he had to track back. And that extra journey took him another 8 hours.
Holy shit.
And then he was worried because he was like, oh, it's starting to be nighttime. I need to get to the cabin. So I think he got to the cabin at like 3 a.m. or something.
Holy fuck. That's still already dark as shit.
Yeah, and I don't assume he has some like crazy flashlights or anything. It's like he's literally just out in the wild, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, dude.
That is
I would be terrified. I like when I go on hikes, I haven't been on many hikes in the winter. But as soon as that sun even touches the horizon, I'm like, yo, we have to go home, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I've seen nighttime. It's fucking scary.
Oh, yeah.
We have to go home.
Even when the sun starts to lower in the sky, I'm like, we're going back down.
Yeah. I was like, no way. No shot, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to be stuck up here hiking
like,
in the dark.
It sounds like such a nightmare situation. Because, like, we have our cell phones, but, like, cell phone flashlight could be janky. In the cold, if you drop it, you're fucked.
They don't always have signal.
Yeah, so it's kind of iffy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I was better outdoors. I'm just not. I'm just a city boy, is what I have to say.
Yeah, me too. And even when I go hiking, I don't bring anything with me.
I feel like because I've camped so much when I was a kid, I feel like of all my friends, I'd be probably one of the most prepared, and I still feel not confident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I was just like, I don't know how other people have that confidence to do these like crazy treks without all that preparation first.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, Viv, you want to talk about? Tell me the idea.
What's your definition of health? I just wanted to see exactly what you find healthy, what you don't find healthy, because I was thinking about how some people have different definitions of what they consider healthy. For example, a lot of people, or some people who mind their macros and their calories will resort to drinks and foods that are considered 0 calorie or 0 sugar. But if you look at the ingredient label, it has a lot of processed artificial sugars in it. Or people who really like fruits, sometimes they'll buy fruits that are abnormally large for their size, and at that point you can say like, oh yeah, this fruit probably took up a lot of fertilizer, or it's probably some crazy GMO fruit. And at what point, or what exactly, how do you define what's healthy to you and what's not healthy? Like, where do you draw the line? Where do you give some passes for? And yeah, what do you try to avoid? For me, normally I try and avoid things that are specifically that say 0 sugar, 0 calorie.
Oh yeah.
And they have artificial sweeteners in it, because I know that all the studies for artificial sweeteners, they probably studied it enough so that you know that it's not gonna fuck up your body if you eat a decent amount of it, you don't abuse it. But for me, in general, I try to avoid it, and I'd rather take the calories than take the artificial sweetener.
I see.
In that. But I have given away a little bit because I eat so much Greek yogurt on a regular day basis. If I continuously eat that much honey, which I would add honey instead, then I feel like if I replace that with stevia, then I have so much more leeway or flexibility in the rest of my meals. So for Greek yogurt specifically, I'll take stevia. But everywhere else, I'll usually give in to the higher calorie food,
right,
using the natural sugar over something that has an artificial 0 calorie sweetener.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll drink a 0 calorie drink. And I'll be like, yeah, this is 0 calories. Like, AHA. You ever had AHA drink?
I know what it is, but I've never.
It's just carbonated fizzy drink. It tastes like the water, like just touched a watermelon. You know what I mean? Like you just flowed water through past a watermelon.
Like you washed a watermelon in this water.
That's it. Right? Or like grapes. Like you just wash grapes and then you put it in the can with fizziness, like carbonation, and then that's what AHA tastes like, right?
Okay.
It just literally just tastes like water with a hint of something.
Okay.
So when I drink that, I'm like, yeah, this is 0 calories.
Yes.
But when I drink like 0 calorie, like diet ginger ale or Coke or something like that, it says 0 calories on it. I am a little suspect of it. But it does make me feel a little less bad that like it's like a trick
Yes.
And I don't do it often, so I still feel like the trick works.
Do 0-calorie sweeteners still spike your blood sugar?
I have no idea. I've never.
Can you look that up real quick? I'm kind of curious. But it's kind of the same reason why I got really turned off of drinking soda too, is because I feel like it's just not really chemicals that I just rather not put in my body. And so that goes with artificial sweeteners too.
Allegedly, from the Mayo Clinic, sugar substitutes don't affect your blood sugar level. In fact, most artificial sweeteners are considered free foods. Free food contains less than 20 calories and 5 grams or less carbohydrates. And they don't count as calories or carbohydrates on a diabetes exchange. Oh, so they do have some calories.
Yeah.
But 20 calories is very insignificant.
But yeah, honest. I guess
it's very, very, very
I mean, you would put that on a nutrition label, but I'm guessing per grams is not enough for them to be legally have to put that on a nutrition label. Yeah.
So some 0-calorie drinks, I'm very suspect of it because I was like, this tastes too good.
Mm-hmm.
This is like no. This doesn't feel right. But if I drink like AHA, I'm like, no, this feels like water, essentially just carbonated water, right? But the other ones, I'm like kind of iffy. But I don't personally worry about this because I don't do it often.
Yes.
So I would drink like say like a Diet Coke once every like 2 to 3 weeks.
Holy shit, that number is a lot larger than I expected.
Yeah, like this would just be like randomly I'm out somewhere.
Yeah.
And they have that, or like during a lunch and learn at work.
I was expecting you to say every couple of months because I was like, I think mine would be potentially once a year.
I actually like carbonated.
Like a sip.
I actually like carbonated water.
Yes.
So that to me is like, oh, that's a pretty good alternative if there isn't any.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like if at a lunch and learn, they have some drinks, and usually I grab water. But if that day I'm feeling it, I'm like, all right, I'll grab a diet, whatever.
Oh shit! I want to treat myself to some.
Well, I mean the food I'm eating is already shit anyways compared to my meal plan. So I was like, okay, this isn't over the top. And then once every 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like, okay, this is kind of reasonable. I have probably one lunch and learn every 2 or 3 weeks kind of thing. So it's like, it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or like on a weekend, if I go somewhere for a barbecue and they have it there.
Sounds like you have a lot of barbecues in your life.
Well, no, in the summer, like every 2 or 3 weeks, I think it's kind of average. You know, you have a get together eating thing, right? Then I would go for one. And I don't know, I just feel like if someone can drink it every day, and I feel like people do drink it every day, and I feel like the studies they do have it are people who drink it every day, and there's still nothing significant. I feel like drinking it once every 2 or 3 weeks is like even like negligible, even beyond negligible, as in like less than nothing almost.
Oh, interesting.
That's how I think of it. Yes, for health.
Yes.
In terms of just foods, like if I go to the supermarket, anything that's pre-processed, so like other than fruits and vegetables, if I can eat it right away, and maybe other than like milk, yogurt, cheese, if I can eat it right away, I probably don't tend to go for it.
Oh, you mean like processed foods over whole foods?
Yeah. So, what I think about healthy is just meat. Like if I can see that the meat is there, like as in like it's raw. There's nothing
whole
done
ingredients.
to it. Yeah. That's what I consider as healthy.
Yes, I would too.
I don't care too much about the organics and not, because I don't think it's currently for me sustainable. As in like
price wise.
Yeah, price wise. Like if I made a lot more money, then I might consider it. But if I made the same amount as make now, or if I did make more money, but I had like a family to support, I still don't think it's worth it.
I agree.
So then I don't care for the organic option. I also don't actually believe the organic option. I just think it's kind of a bunch of bullshit, right? But that's just personal opinion. I have no idea if it is or not. So I don't specifically go for anything free range or anything like that. But if it's on sale, I would consider it.
Yes.
So if the free range chicken was on sale and it costs the same price to buy the free range and the normal chicken, which is almost impossible, I would consider the free range because it's the same price anyways. Right. But that's like rare. That almost never happens.
Interesting.
Right? So it's also like I never buy halal because I'm not eating halal. But sometimes legitimately halal meat was on sale and it's slightly cheaper than the alternative.
I don't think halal actually changes anything in terms of its nutritional value. It's more how they treat the animal when it's being...
But to me, that's the same... Like, that's almost a similar mindset I have with organic. Like, I don't care for it enough, But if the option is there and it's cheaper and it's quote unquote more humane, because I assume halal is more humane than not. I could be completely false there, right? Then I'll be like, okay, well, the alternative is the same price, so I'll just buy that, right? But that rarely happens. So usually I go for non-organic, whole foods, with some exceptions. So I don't buy too much fruits and vegetables. I'm not a big fan.
What the fuck?
I'm not a big fan. Just be honest here.
The other day you had cauliflower.
Yeah, so usually whatever leftover vegetables my mom can't make for the week, I just be like, just give it to me and I'll just cook it for my meal prep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't consider the vegetable a core part of my meal prep.
It's just protein.
No, it's just extra. It's just like fluff.
I mean, for like your meal prep, all you focus on is protein. It's
essentially, like, I do still count the carbs. Like, in yogurt, there's a little bit of carbs. In milk, there's a little bit of carbs and all that stuff. But when it comes to the vegetable, I don't count it. It's just kind of like a filler. Like, I'll just throw it in, some lettuce into this thing. Yeah, kind of. Or, like, it'll soak up some of the sauce, which makes it taste like meat, which is good enough for me. So usually I don't actually buy that much vegetables. It's like whatever my mom has left over. Because she's vegetarian, there's always a lot of vegetables at home.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. I eat a shit ton of veggies.
Yeah, no. I almost skipped that. And the other caveat for my case is that I would consider canned veggies okay for me. And so is frozen. So I'm not like a czar on this, but I think most frozen veggies are like kind of flash frozen.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, it's just processed differently. Like there's nothing they did to it, in my opinion.
I heard that for nutrition, some veggies are actually better when they're frozen than fresh.
Yeah.
Because they preserve the nutrients in the vegetable over it slowly deteriorating while it sits on the shelf.
Right. So in my opinion, and I could be wrong about this, like how I think about it when I look at the frozen now, I just think that they just took these veggies and then they just flash froze it. They didn't like put anything on it. Like they didn't like sprinkle like poop particles on it or anything like that. Right. So in my opinion, like I treat frozen just as healthy as fresh. It just depends on preference because sometimes frozen feels worse.
Yeah, so because when it defrosts, the texture changes.
Yeah, like frozen corn doesn't feel as good as canned corn.
Yes.
Right. And then fresh corn obviously tastes even better than canned corn, which is better than frozen corn. But then I treat that the same way as the canned stuff. I don't know how much preservatives they put in it. But usually when I use like canned corn, for example, I'll like strain it and then just rinse it and then I'll use it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, again, this could be false. I just think that, there can't be that much they do to it. I'm just going to wash whatever I can off and then I'll use it. I also feel like it's not even that nutritionally significant for me, so then I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Just like canned vegetables in general. Like I'm not saying I use a lot of canned vegetables. I actually don't. Like I don't even use a lot of vegetables in general. So don't even think about like canned vegetables, right? Okay. But typically I would be okay with it. Like if I had nothing else and I felt like eating some corn and it's like winter, there's no more corn or whatever season that there's no corn. And yeah, I'd go for canned corn. I just drain it, rinse it, and then just put it while I'm stir frying something, I just throw some canned corn in there.
Interesting. I would say I'm the same with corn too.
Yeah, and for me, like most veggies, but again, I don't buy a lot of canned veggies, but most veggies, I would treat it like that. Like they're all pretty healthy. I don't distinguish between organic and not. The only thing I distinguish is if it's already been made or not, as in if it's been super processed or not. Right. So for me, just meat, it just has to be fucking the original color, just pink, white, whatever it is. And then for vegetables, it just has to be as little processed as possible. That's how I treat it that's how I see it as healthy. And then what I see as unhealthy is everything that's not in those scenarios.
Yes. What about slightly prepared meals, like cans of tuna, but there's flavor in it?
Oh.
What's your opinion on that?
I think it's a good alternative, like very convenient.
Yes.
I used to eat it more often than now, but now I just can't really care for the texture anymore. Like I feel like I've upgraded a little bit in my life between being a student and now.
Okay.
So now I feel like, okay, I can afford real meat that's not already pre-cooked.
Yes.
And so canned tuna is essentially kind of like pre-cooked meat, right? And I don't like the texture of, like, I don't care for the texture of canned tuna or canned fishes or canned meats. It just feels like a weird texture. So I just go for the actual stuff. Just because I feel like I've upgraded a little bit, I can afford a little bit more.
Yeah,
like back when I was in school, it was like canned meat was okay just because.
What canned meat would you get?
Like canned ham. But now that I think back, it's actually pretty gross.
Like the Spam?
Yeah.
Or the one in the black triangular
No, Spam's pretty close to what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah. Like back then, I was really new to meal prepping, so it was literally just counting calories.
Yeah.
Like I would eat white rice with fish sticks. Because when you count the macros, it worked out. So
like just like fried fish sticks?
Like frozen fish sticks you popped in the oven, right?
It has crust and shit on it?
Like
a breading?
Yeah.
Oh, just
and then literally just purely looking at macros, I would get like however much white rice, and then I'll
delicious. I'll
literally put fish sticks, like breaded fish sticks that's frozen, that's pre-frozen, and you just like pop it in and you just heat it up, and I'll just put it on top of my rice, and I'll close the container. I'll bring it to school, I'll microwave it, and I'll just eat it.
That sounds delicious.
I mean, it was purely based on calorie counting. And the reason I allude to fish sticks or like chicken nuggets and stuff is like those are really easy because per piece you could count. So like if you were like in some off number, you could be like, oh, I need 4 pieces instead of 3 pieces, or like 3 pieces instead of 4 pieces, right? That was back when I was in school. I think 2 things that was happening there. 1, I was poor. 2, I just didn't have time to cook.
Yeah.
Like I actually spend a significant amount of time every week cooking now. So I spend at least 2 to 3 hours for an entire week of food of cooking, right? So back then when I was in school, like fucking popping something in the oven and then throwing white rice, which we always had at home, and then some of that stuff on and like weighing everything was super easy, right? But thinking back, I thought that was good enough. But now that I think forward, I was like, oh, that was probably not healthy eating the super processed stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I
imagine all the breading wouldn't be that great for you.
Yeah. But like if you purely count macro, I did nothing wrong. As in like I hit all my macros exactly, but because I feel like I can afford being quote unquote healthier now, I would stray away from anything processed, even like canned tuna and stuff. I would be like, I'd rather just buy fucking tuna and then cook it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Like if I have the option to.
Yeah.
Another slight caveat, again, because I'm a cheap bastard. Costco hot dog, you can't beat that value. Like you just can't. Like there's no choice. Right? So if it's a non-meal prep day and I'm already at Costco, then I'm like, I need to eat something because I need protein. I'm going to get a Costco hot dog.
Yeah.
Like there's, I think people have done calculations on this. There is no way you can beat the value.
Same with Costco roast chicken.
Yeah.
They lose money on that.
So it's like, I can't, for the right reasons, not buy this hot dog and eat it.
I don't remember last time I actually had a Costco hot dog. They are good though. It's
usually just on the week. Like I feel shitty after I eat it.
Oh yeah.
But it's never stopped me from buying one. Never once has it stopped me from buying one. Like the feeling, it's like when you get a hangover, you're like, I'm never gonna drink again.
Oh yeah.
I've never liked that with hot dog. I've never liked that with Costco hot dog. Like I literally feel like a little bit oozy on my stomach after.
Yeah. Because you feel heavy.
Yeah, and then I'm like, hey, if you ask me if I would do it again, I'm like, yeah, I probably would. Like if they came up with a different option, I think about it, right? Like, can you lettuce wrap that bitch or something? But that's probably too expensive. Like lettuce is not cheap.
I also feel like lettuce wrap for hot dogs just completely changes it. You need the bun for hot dogs. And you can do lettuce wrapped burgers.
Yeah.
But for hot dogs specifically, I feel like you need the bun.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm okay with. Typically how my cycle goes right now is really weird.
Oh, you're talking about your period for a second.
Yeah, my period. I am usually overweight on Monday, and then I'm back to underweight on Friday. So
your body's like, I'm just trying to be healthy, please.
So by Wednesday, I'm the perfect weight, and then by Friday, I'm underweight.
Amazing.
So then on Saturday, I usually justify being able to eat a little bit more. But also, I find that if I'm not meal prepping, it's actually hard to get all the protein I need. So any opportunity I can get protein, like Costco hot dog, I would go for that opportunity.
You have to be pretty, what's the word?
Diligent?
No.
Strict?
But anyways, you have to be pretty diligent
with your protein intake,
and focus on it.
Yeah. So like,
or intentional.
Like days I know or I have a really good feeling I'm not going to get enough, I would just straight up first thing I do in the morning is just grab a protein shake just to make sure I get that minimum amount.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, if we had like an event in the evening, like a wedding I go to, like it may or may not get enough protein. If I have a temple event, I have to eat at temple, I'm for sure not getting enough protein.
Are you going to protein drink on Sunday?
I will, but because I'm climbing. I'm probably also gonna drink one tomorrow too, because I'm going to Temple for lunch. I see. Yeah. So usually, like, I feel bad. Like, there's been some times I go to Temple and I don't eat, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you eat?" It's like, because you don't like vegetarian food. I was like, no.
That's because I don't like you, Brenda.
I was like. So when they asked me on weekday, I was like, "Oh no, I have a meal prep," and then on weekend, I'm just like, I'll eat a little bit, and then
it's so good though.
Like literally right after, because I'm such a glutton. Right after I eat, I scooter home. It takes me 5 minutes to scooter home, and I eat another meal. Like literally right away. It's like no, it's not. There's no break between. Like every time I tell Joyce, it's like I come here. When I come here and eat, I expect to not be full, because I know right after this I'm gonna go home and eat.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so sometimes
like while you're eating at the temple, you bring out your packed food too.
Yeah. Well, like usually how it goes, like me and Joyce will go to temple eat on Saturday for lunch, and then we'll go home right after, and then Joyce will be like, "Yeah, I'm full. That was good." And then I'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fry some eggs and like make some other shit right now because I'm so hungry." But yeah, so I wouldn't consider that like I feel like going out to eat is actually I consider that unhealthy, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like
I know you get so much carbs and very little protein.
Yeah. So like, okay, if we go back to your original question, if I go into the supermarket, you kind of know my different expectations now. Like, okay, if it's in the regardless if it's fresh or frozen aisle, as long as it's not processed, I consider healthy. And then if it's processed and it's not dairy, I consider unhealthy. I don't think you can get unprocessed dairy anyways. Like it's physically impossible.
Yeah, unless you buy raw.
Yeah, and I. Like
milk.
Like I've never researched this, but I do believe I need the calcium from dairy. So I've just always taken dairy. I have no idea. Like I've never read a single study on this shit. I just assume I need calcium, so I always drink milk and all that stuff. So that's the scenario when it goes to the supermarket. So I don't care about GMO and all that bullshit stuff.
Just saying.
But when I go and eat, like a restaurant,
yeah.
I almost will always expect to eat unhealthy. Like I've never like thought.
That's kind of me too. I try to pick the healthier option, but I usually forego a lot of my standards when it comes to calories and.
What's the healthier option to you?
I try to go. My main thing is try to go with something that has the most amount of protein. And sometimes for a meal, it'll just mean that you order something that has no protein and you add protein to it. Like get a salad. Add protein to it, but I also find that unless the salad is actually really good and I know somehow that their salad is actually a substantial salad, I would usually not order a salad because I feel like salads are such a waste of money at restaurants.
Yeah, I think
so it's usually like a burger.
Yeah,
or something like that.
So like on top of your salad thing, I just think vegetables aren't worth it in general. But I understand you think differently on that part.
I love vegetables.
Okay, like vegetables are good. They're not bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I've calculated this in my head so many times. The $1 per calorie is not worth it at all.
Oh yeah.
There's almost no calorie in it, and you're paying like so much more.
What about your micronutrients?
Yeah, I only hope my vitamin tablets and shit are all helping me out with that because I take my multivitamin and shit. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Like a head of lettuce is $3 on the cheap side. Like, is that what you would consider average price cheap?
Yeah. I buy romaine lettuce.
There's like 0 calories in that.
Yeah.
You're buying water, right? Kind of thing. Okay, water with a little bit of stuff.
But your micronutrients
are
so good for you. I ate 2 whole, I don't know if they're called heads or whatever the fuck, things of romaine lettuce today. And 1 head of broccoli and a bunch of artichoke and 3 tomatoes.
Like that's crazy because like that thing you just ate was like 20 calories. You don't even have to put it on a nutrition label.
I know, I don't track veggies at all. And I ate a whole bunch of bok choy too.
And that
like a whole ass
like that all probably costed you like at least $5 of veggies.
Probably. But I think it's worth it. I love veggies so much.
Fair enough. I like I don't know how to explain it. Like something's different about Asian veggies and non-Asian veggies.
I actually don't really eat Asian veggies that often.
Oh, really?
When I'm making my like meal prep from day to day,
yeah,
I would say the Asian veggie that I eat the most would be Byee bok choy because I just separate it all and then I just steam it, put salt, and that's how I eat it, and it tastes so fucking good.
So this might not count, but my favorite veggie to put in when I'm cooking is mushroom. But I know it's not really a veggie.
It is a veggie, but yeah, not a green.
But it just feels like it's gonna give me a little bit extra protein.
Damn, I love mushrooms. But I don't eat mushrooms that often, like actual mushrooms.
Yeah.
I would say I eat broccoli almost every day. And carrots quite often too.
Yeah.
And cabbage quite often.
So for me, when I go to a restaurant, I actually don't go with the option with the most protein. I go with the option that balances protein and minimizes carb, but is not excessively expensive.
Oh yeah.
That's my like mini calculation. Like, no, I'm not gonna get the T-bone steak.
Oh yeah.
But I will maybe get the steak sandwich, which is literally just a piece of steak on top of a piece of bread.
I would do the exact same thing.
Or I would get like the chicken burger or something like that, right?
Something that has most amount of protein.
Yeah.
Least amount of carbs, but actually decent price.
Yes.
Worth it for what it is.
Yes.
To an extent.
Yes, because usually most of, like, if you max out protein and minimize carbs, you're usually gonna get something super, super expensive.
Yeah.
So I usually when I go out, I try to balance those.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess I don't go that often anymore. So it's hard to say.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like if I went to a pasta place, it's just whatever that can, like they're all about the same, I think, usually.
Yeah. Normally when I go to pasta, I don't go to pasta places that often, but if I do go to one, I typically don't order straight up pasta.
Oh, you order like chicken parm or something?
Something like that. Or I'll order, I like the texture of penne a lot. Or rigatoni.
That's a pasta,
I don't. Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's, to me, subconsciously or consciously, whatever it is, in my head, I feel like it's less carbs than if you were to get angel hair or fettuccine or a noodle shaped pasta, because I feel like they just give you so much more when they give you that, over if they give you pasta that's in tiny little shapes.
I see. I love linguine.
Oh no,
it's just it reminds me of noodles. Like I like noodles, right?
I do like it.
Yeah.
For the complete satiety of my meal, I feel like it's not worth all the carbs, in my opinion. I don't know if there's actually more carbs or less carbs than when they give you penne or rigatoni or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in my head, I feel like there's a lot more.
So what's some other nuances that you would consider health and not healthy? Like something that people don't normally think of?
Normally think of? So for the grocery shopping part, I don't care for organic food too, because I think that it's just too expensive for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But if I were to buy regular food and I see that, oh, these blueberries are actually, they look really good, and beside them there's a box of blueberries that are abnormally large but potentially just as sweet, then I would typically go for the blueberries that just look like a normal size. And that's the same with strawberries. I find that it's more commonplace to find strawberries that are fucking huge as shit, and you'll see in the box that they have one that's 2 or 3 times your regular size strawberry. I usually won't go for those either. Dang. Just because for me, I'm like, okay, if I have the option of picking a normal blueberry and a normal strawberry that, potentially didn't get crispered, then I'd rather go for that. And that's the same with drinking things that are 0 sugar or 0 calorie or anything like that. I'm okay. If I really want this food, and usually it's a treat and it's not something that's mainly a part of my like meal or a macro, or like something that's a part of my main meal, then I'm okay. If you really want this, then you could allot the calories needed for this so that you pick by my definition, the healthier option, so doesn't have a lot of extra chemicals and shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what goes into making those. Like I assume sucrose is pretty generic.
Yeah,
it's just sugar, whatever, from whatever sugar cane or whatever else. But yeah, I would expect like aspartame, which is I think what's in most sugar stuff.
I would say so.
I assume they did something to it.
Yeah, in order for it to not spike your blood sugar.
Do you ever worry about electrolyte drinks? Because usually some of them, at least the ones I drink, are 0 calories, technically, but they do taste like something. Like they're not like a carbonated.
I only drink electrolytes when Gatorade specifically, when I play tournaments. But usually I'll try to just focus on drinking water.
Oh, really? I drink one electrolyte drink every morning.
Well,
This is my first drink in the morning.
You have to be hydrated as shit.
I don't know. I assume it helps. But now that you talk about the sugar thing, I'm actually curious on that too now.
Yeah, I'm curious how it tastes sweet, but it doesn't increase your blood sugar at all.
The other curious thing I have is
or affect your insulin.
Your BCAAs or EAAs, technically there's no calories in that. But that's technically already broken down protein, right? That's amino acids.
Yeah.
They're just broken down protein. So like, I'm always curious on how it can be 0 calories, but like a scoop is still 5 grams of whatever.
You're right.
But it's 0 calories, but everything in there is essentially broken down version of protein. But to them, as advertised, it's 0 calories.
Yeah. Perhaps it's not enough calories for them to put on a nutrition label, but I would also imagine that because they're amino acids, they're not technically a macronutrient.
Yeah, that's true. Like who the fuck did the study on this? You know what I mean? Like that's my curiosity. Like who did the study? Like how did they do the study? Like because I'm actually curious. Like did they just like weigh someone, or did they have some like energy output? Did they like set the thing on fire and see how much energy came out of it? You know what I mean? Because like that's what essentially a calorie is, right? It's just it's whatever energy you get from it, right?
I think it's kind of cool when you look at European nutrition labels and they literally mark calories as energy.
Oh yeah. You know what's cool? I just realized when you talked about the European thing. Do you realize when you went to Europe, when you bought eggs, they weren't in the fridge?
Oh yeah, they were on the shelves because of how they process eggs differently here than over there.
I was told from I forgot who, but I was told here we wash our eggs, and because we wash our eggs, we have to put in the fridge.
Oh yes.
And there they don't wash their eggs, so they can leave it on the shelf. Something about
because
washing
of the membrane, right?
Yeah, something about washing the eggs destabilizes it is what I assume. I was like, that's very interesting. I was like, that's such a like if that's true. If I were to ask you, do you think Europeans are more or less healthy than North Americans?
By that by that example with the egg specifically, I don't think it's
just in general. Like if someone just asked, do you think Europeans are more or less healthy than North Americans?
I would say they're more healthier.
Okay, but even if you said they were the same, then wouldn't that just mean like why the fuck are we washing our eggs?
I think for the eggs thing, it's a difference of opinion on which one's the better procedure.
Oh,
because we wash the eggs because we think, okay, it came out of the chicken's butthole or whatever, so we should wash it and make sure it's sanitized and pasteurized and everything.
Just in case.
For them, they think, okay, but it comes of a natural membrane that would naturally preserve the egg or keep the egg healthy and shelf stable if we don't wash it. So it's a difference of opinions. I don't know which one's actually scientific. I'm sure it's for science there's a correct one-way answer, and I've never actually looked deeply into it enough.
Because I'm curious about the economic impact that brings. Because all the refrigeration, not just like storage but transportation and all that stuff. Like if you can have it shelf stable, like dude, your whole supply chain system is so much easier.
That's true.
Right? Like you could buy, like here you have to buy just enough eggs for however long that's stable for.
Are eggs pasteurized everywhere around the world?
I have no fucking idea.
I don't think so. Right?
But I'm very curious. Because I thought like if there's no difference, wouldn't it just don't fucking wash it, and then you just don't have this unnecessary economic toll on the egg farmers and the egg sellers and all that stuff?
I feel like there's a difference, but somewhere along the line, like the chances of getting bacteria are different in different parts of the process. So say you wash the membrane off of the eggs. Yeah. Okay, your eggs are now sanitized, but then okay, if you don't keep this egg at XYZ temperature, then your egg has more chances of growing bacteria. Yeah. But okay, if you don't wash your eggs and you keep that membrane on, you leave the chances of any bacteria or virus that comes straight from the chicken to stay on the egg itself.
Right.
Something like that.
We're just protecting little Timmy from putting the fucking eggshell in his mouth. I think that's what it feels like
in the States.
Like that's what we're doing. And then whereas Europe, they're like, oh no, Timmy should learn his lesson.
Yeah,
Timmy should learn his lesson.
Should know not to put that in his mouth.
And the parents of Timmy should also know how to treat their food and put it in the right place and not leave it out for.
Maybe it's because Americans are dumb.
Well, I mean, like it's like the whole Kinder Surprise thing, right? And the toy and all that shit, like that being banned because the kids was eating the toy. It's like it's a pretty big fucking toy.
Yeah, a lot of kids choke and eat toys. You're not gonna take down one entire company's brand model just because of that one kid. Sorry, not sorry.
It's just like I feel like the onus is on you, not on the brand. It's kind of like the whole. I remember this was such a controversial thing. Was the McDonald's or was it Timmy's? Their coffee and the hot water and the girl.
Oh, that girl that got burnt.
The woman, that got burned from it. Like I know there was some extraordinary circumstances where the water was actually super hot. It was like hotter than normal boiling water. From what I remember.
Yes, I heard that if you actually read into it, it's a lot more complicated than it originally sounds like. Than just, oh, it was too hot, I spilled it on myself.
Because I think the McDonald's of the world were trying to say like, no, like this lady was being dumb.
Yeah.
Right. But I think she had a case to it too.
I think she actually did have a very viable case.
Yeah. There was some nuances there, but from that nuance, that was like, I wouldn't say it ruined it for everyone, but it just made sure like you can't be negligent when you're doing your job, right? Like if you want to boil water, you don't get it to 1,000 degrees C, you get it to 100. That's good, kind of thing like that, right? Yeah, makes sense. So one nuance I have when I look at healthy is I actually don't look at fat that much. I know a lot of people do. So like when I buy ground beef, you know how there's like the lean, extra lean, and like extra lean. I actually would just pick the cheapest one. Which is usually the one that's less lean. So
I should do 90-10.
I literally just...
on average for mincemeat.
Yeah, like, so the thing too though is like I usually buy from Costco too and they don't have an option. Like they only have one option. They don't have lean and extra lean. They just have like, this is our mincemeat, right?
Or if you look at the color, I feel like sometimes you can tell.
Yeah, but I usually don't look at that. I'm a big proponent on fat. I know that there's some fatties out there who have died from cardiac issues. But I think for the general population, that fat's good for you. Like,
are taking salmon fat freely. The fattier the salmon, the better.
So that's another one I wanted to. Like, do you care if it's fresh or farmed? Number one, and then number two, are you ever worried about like mercury levels?
I don't care about my mercury levels.
Oh, okay, fair
Surprisingly enough, I love seafood so fucking much that I don't care.
Oh, okay.
For mercury levels.
I don't, but that's because I can't afford that much seafood to give myself mercury poisoning. So
I love seafood.
I only eat seafood like maybe on a weekend as like a special thing. If not, it's usually just the regular farm animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say I eat salmon every couple of days.
Yeah, no. So, but for me, like, I don't care about like the fatty piece of beef or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think back then people were always, I think the whole media was like, you know, portraying fat as really bad. I feel like it's changed now, but I feel like still people still have that mentality. Yeah, okay, don't get me wrong, fat's bad because it's so highly calorically dense. So if you're overweight, then yeah, it's bad for you because you just don't want that much calorie. But
what about LCLs versus HCLs, like good fats versus bad fats? Do you care about that, or just fat in general? You don't care?
This is how my mind thinks. Okay, if it comes from an animal, it's a supernatural fat. Okay. So like, I don't give a fuck what if it's HCL, LCL. I don't care. It's like, it's good. It's healthy for you. You should eat it. I'm into that seed oil propaganda thing. I don't believe that seed oil is good for you. I'm into that conspiracy theory and shit.
You've convinced me with that too.
Yeah. So allegedly, right now the only good types of oils is like avocado oil, coconut oil, and shit like that. So I exclusively only use either rendered fat that I rendered myself, or ghee, or avocado oil. Those are the 3 oils I use.
Nice.
Or butter. Like, I have nothing against butter.
I also heard coconut oil is really bad for you.
I have no idea. I've never really touched it.
I
didn't want my stuff to taste coconutty most of the time. Like, I like coconut flavor, but not only when it's like intentional, like a curry or something like that, right? Or some saucy thing. But for me, like, I love fat. I think fat should be like top priority for people.
Whoa, cool.
Like Greek yogurt. I think any yogurt less than 10% fat is like bullshit yogurt. Like 0%, 0% yogurt, like 0% fat yogurt is not even yogurt in my personal opinion. I feel like that fat is like fundamental. It's necessary.
I would agree that if you get any percentage above 0% MF, for Greek yogurt, it changes the texture so fucking much.
What does the MF stand for? Do you know?
Milk fat.
Oh, that was a motherfucker.
You're like, fuck, this is 0% motherfuckers in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always get 0%, and I think it's pretty fucking creamy enough for me, and I quite like it.
Yeah, no,
Greek yogurt is the best.
I'm into the conspiracy, or maybe not even conspiracy, because it's proven true that the sugar industry did fuck with the fat, and there was a propaganda back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So it's factually true that like fat doesn't make you fat, whereas it's like sugar that makes you fat, right? So unless
you're above your caloric intake.
Yeah. But just in general, that's what the sugar industry was pushing for, right? So I do believe like fat's good. You need fat. The more the better, in my opinion, because we don't get enough. Because so many things nowadays is like, oh, they cut out the fat and shit. And I think it's even worse because when you're cooking something that isn't that fatty, you add oil to it, and then the people might end up adding seed oil to it. So it's like you took out the good fat that came from the animal, and then you added in the bad fat that comes from the seed oils. When you do that, right? So it's like if you have a very lean cut of chicken breast, you need some fat, right? And then once they use seed oil, that's kind of shit.
Even
now.
worse. Yeah.
Whereas like if you have in my opinion, a better cut is chicken thigh, where it's already fatty a bit, and then you use something that's not seed oil, like, you know, butter, ghee, rendered fat, or avocado oil.
Yeah.
Then it's like you get double of the bonus, right? Of good fats. That's what I think of fat too. I think a lot of people disagree with me too. I always think like, oh fuck, I think fat's good. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's all these other shit. But I think that's one of the biggest nuance that people don't agree with me. The other thing too is like I love skin. Like chicken skin is delicious.
Oh, that's not worth it for me. I love it, but I always avoid it. I don't think it's worth.
Like you even avoid it if you're not like macroing that day.
Like every single time I try to avoid it because I just overall don't think it's as worth it.
How about like salmon skin?
Unless I don't care for my macros that day. Like every single day I try to be conscious of it. If we're at like an event or a hangout and there's skin on a thing, actually I'll probably still take it off too.
Oh really? I think maybe
but if I know I'll for sure undereat my calories that day, fucking go for it. I love it.
I think call me fatty or whatever, but I don't think I do that anymore. I think back then I did when I was like super strict on my macros, but now I'm more lenient on that because I think a part of it is the physical health, and then a part of it is the mental health. And like for me the mental toll it takes on me to take off that chicken skin is just too much. It's just too much. I just feel like I won't be living a real life anymore, you know?
I would say between chicken thighs and chicken breast, I eat them equally as much because I love chicken.
I won't lie, I almost never eat them. I had chicken breast this week. Yeah. My stomach felt weird. It's like, well, what is this? You haven't eaten this in a long fucking time. Bird? Yeah. It's usually just beef or pork. Because those are...
I don't think I eat pork that much.
Okay, I love eating pork, not for any religious reasons, but because it's so fucking cheap. It's literally the cheapest meat you can buy.
Oh,
that is like actually real meat, like as in like not processed.
Some people feel like pork is a dirtier quote unquote meat. Yeah, and not as healthy because it's from pigs.
Yeah, those are the religious people.
You don't share that view?
No, not really.
It's equally as quote unquote clean as beef and chicken and all that.
I think you can go to the worst situation of any factory farm and every meat will feel dirty to you. And you can get into the best situation of any farm and any quote unquote dirty animal will feel clean to you. Right? So like if you have like a very natural farm, like the pigs aren't naturally eating shit.
Yeah.
They're just eating the actual food the farmer gives them. Right? And if that turns out to just be just right or just grains or grass or whatever it might be, then that's the same shit as what the cow's eating. So I don't think it became any dirtier. Right?
I think for pigs, I'm not sure how they do it now, but the idea was that pigs get fed a lot more they get quote unquote trash food than
like really bad grains and shit like that.
Other animals.
I think I'm not completely at the point where okay, wait. So let me put this in the right words. I feel like I don't make enough money to care what food my food eats right now. Not enough, at least, I think. And maybe never in my lifetime. Like, it might just be my mentality I had. So I treat them all about the same. So that's why I was like, oh, pork is so cheap compared to everything else, right? And that's usually why I lean towards that or beef. And the other reason I lean towards beef is that it's almost the same price, sometimes cheaper, sometimes more expensive than chicken. And I prefer that taste and flavor more.
That makes sense.
Especially being in Alberta, like I legitimately think it's better than everywhere else. It's a complete bias, but I think our beef is completely better. So it's like
I think so too.
Yeah, and the other reason is I think chicken in general doesn't have enough fat. Like I think you've never seen a marbled chicken, have you? It's usually like the chicken and then the fat. But then if there's ever
the meat industry some crazy ideas.
Yeah, but some marble chicken. But yeah, usually the fat gets cut off, right? I think typically, even if it's regardless if it's thigh or breast, I think it gets cut off.
Most of the time, I would say so.
Which I don't like. Again, going back to me being a proponent of, I think fat's good for you. So then having beef or pork, it's actually marbled in. It's actually like in the cuts.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get it no matter what, and it's not taken away from you before you can even buy it, right? I mean, I wouldn't even say like nothing related to like animal cruelty or anything like that, but technically you would be eating more chickens than you would be pork or beef, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Sometimes when we go out for a wings night,
oh yeah, that's a lot of chickens.
I look at it, I'm holy shit, there's a lot of chickens.
Every four wings is one chicken.
Yeah.
Right. So it's wild.
4 wings.
Yeah, 2 wings and 2 drumsticks.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes.
well, technically, yeah, and it's like tiny ass chickens. Like those are chicks.
Those are babies.
Yeah. Like I've seen a drumstick.
Mm-hmm.
They're much bigger than this.
Exactly.
Right. Even the KFC ones are getting a little small. A little thin
Can't raise them for long enough before they need to get.
I think so.
Good.
But yeah, that's usually what I think. The other thing, other nuance I want to say is I always think alcohol is bad for you. So I always treat that as unhealthy. So when we go to a restaurant, I always think alcohol is not good for you. But sometimes like the only reason I would get it is if it's like a social thing. Like I don't overly like beer, but if it's a social thing, then I'll be like, yeah, I'll get one. I'll just drink one, right? But I don't stock beer in my fridge. Like I don't just have beer because I enjoy beer all the time, right? So, and in general, I think alcohol is not good for you.
I agree. I think the same. But sometimes when I go out to a restaurant and they have a really good Caesar, I'll get a Caesar.
Yeah.
Caesars.
Yeah,
that's for all other alcohol, like beers and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, it's weird too because I think most people are actually very okay with it. I think that's what's causing like a percentage of the obesity is alcohol.
I would say so. Actually, I don't know.
I think so.
I would say a combination because a lot of Asian countries also drink a lot of alcohol and they have drinking as a part of the culture. But I would say in Asia, you don't find as many people who are overweight because the culture is that they're overall more active than America and North America.
I think it's the type they drink. I think beer is literally just the worst.
Korea loves beer.
I think they're more into soju, no?
I would say equally. Beer is pretty high up there.
Because I feel like, I'm not sure about you, but like from watching TV,
yeah,
and just seeing how people live their life, it feels very normal for, just like an average American male to just go home and like drink
a beer,
like at least 1 or 2 beers. That
yeah,
right. And to me, I don't know. I just feel like that's so much. 1, it's a lot of calories, but 2, I just don't think it's healthy.
I can see that.
But it's like it's so easy to say that. You know what I mean? It's just so easy to say, oh, alcohol's not healthy for you, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other ramifications. There's a social aspect to it, right? You don't want to be that one fucking weird guy that gets like, yeah, ice with water, please, you know, at the bar or something.
Who cares?
But yeah, especially if it's like a social event and stuff.
But I do get what you mean. I have some Korean friends. One of my closest friends is actually a Korean as well, and she drinks beer regularly, like on a casual day.
But I actually think drinks in general are not healthy. Like 1, I'm cheap, but 2, I think they're generally not healthy. Yeah, so I always just get water, like whatever the free option is.
I agree.
But that's because I'm
sugar
cheap.
And carbs.
That's the weird part too. When you go to Europe, it's like they don't normally give you water. So you had to like pay for it, which makes me feel weird too. Or if you're already gonna pay for it, then I just end up like actually getting a real drink. Right?
Oh really? I would still get water.
Like if water and carbonated water was only like €0.50 away, I'd be like, okay, I'll just get I'll get the carbonated option, right? Or like if I go out with whoever when I was in Europe, it's like, oh yeah, we could share a big bottle of water, we could all get a beer. It's not that much of a difference in price. I'm like, oh, I'll just get a beer, I guess.
I thought it was crazy in Europe how they had so many options for water, or at least 3 options every single time you sit down somewhere, or it's usually like 4. It's 3 or 4. It's Still, and Still is usually a branded one, which when I was going around Europe, I saw that a common brand had the letter Q on it on their glass bottles.
Yeah.
And the other one would be Tap as your other option, and then the other one would be Sparkling. And unfortunately, I'd always get the Still one.
Oh, so you had to pay for it every time?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like €3 or some bullshit like that. It's like, Convert to our money, that's like almost $5 for a bottle of water. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is insane. But it feels weird if you don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't eat the meal. You're like getting thirsty and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So that I felt weird. But the non-tipping thing kind of helps with that.
That's true.
Like, not having a tip kind of like balances that out a little bit in terms of how much you pay at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's still expensive though.
That's true.
But yeah, in terms of healthy, non-healthy food, yeah, that's what I think of it. I think all desserts are unhealthy naturally.
Yeah, sugar though.
Like, you could try like I think sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe apple pie is good. You know, it has apple in it. But then
you can make it healthier. Sometimes I make
when you're ordering apple pie.
Yes, in a store. But like for if I have a sweet tooth, sometimes I make apple crumble for myself. But I won't add any extra sugar. I'll just use apples, cinnamon, and oatmeal.
Or just eat the apple.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Feels about the same to me.
Sometimes I'll put a little bit of honey and I'll mix it all together and I'll put a tiny bit of flour.
Just eat the apple. Eat the orange. That's what I like the best. I think that's probably one of my like normal, non-expensive favorite fruit is probably orange.
Oh, really?
A nice juicy orange, nothing can beat that.
That's true.
Like a non-expensive one. Like berries are kind of seasonal, right? Like you can't get
berries
that
regularly.
I mean,
when they're out of season,
they're more expensive.
Yeah, but I eat them regularly.
But oranges, I don't think they fluctuate that much.
That's true.
Like, I don't think there is a season because in the Caribbean or wherever the fuck it comes from, it's probably always in season, right? So I feel like, okay, typical fruits would be like apple, orange, banana,
pears.
Maybe pears. I think in Canada, those are like the 4 like typical. That being said, apples, there's like a billion different kinds, right? I think of all those, I think orange for me would be like up there.
Oh, me too.
Like just a good juicy orange. Oh, that hits like, for me, if I'm doing meal prep that day and I'm feeling a little hungry for whatever reason, and I really need to eat because I'm being a fat fuck, like mentally, then I just grab an orange. I just feel so good.
I do also really like oranges. They're really juicy.
Yeah, it's like drinking water and eating it like together.
But over an orange, or probably equal actually. A really juicy orange actually is pretty top tier. But I really like Asian pears too.
Asian pears.
The big
white one?
Slightly off yellow, off white.
The snow apple.
No. Asian pears. They're like quote unquote white, but they're...
Oh, I thought this was a snow apple.
No.
Sweet lei, right?
Yeah, sweet lei.
I thought that was...
This one.
Yeah, we called it...
Asian pear. It has the lightest color skin. It's not the one that's slightly brownish or tan colored. Not that one.
I thought they called them...
the one that's literally like...
I swear, I thought I was wrong calling them pears. Oh, I guess it's not snow apples either. I thought it was a type of apple.
No, it's not.
Like, it's not actually in the pear family.
It is a pear.
Oh, those are pretty good, but I don't think you get those normally, right? I think there's
TNT like regularly.
I thought there's a season to them too, or no?
I don't know. I usually get them pretty regularly.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm wrong on that.
I see those every single day for like 5 years straight.
Actually, I think grapes is pretty common too, no? Do they change a lot through season in terms of pricing? I don't think so.
I don't know, but grapes have quite a bit of sugar in them, so I try to avoid those specifically.
Makes sense. Yeah, I guess that's what I consider healthy. I don't think it's like even that controversial or even like interesting. I feel like we wasted like fucking half an hour here.
I think it's so interesting.
Really?
For pork, I wanted to say for pork, I don't eat a lot of pork on a regular day basis because I feel like if I eat too much, I feel kind of gross. But I do love pork. And I think some dishes require pork.
It's the Muslim in you.
It's the Muslim in me.
Yeah, that makes you feel gross after eating so much pork. No, I think what's weird about pork, the only thing I find weird about pork is bacon.
Oh, I try to avoid bacon all the time.
So I think bacon's great for you, but I don't, like what I do when I cook the bacon is like I use the rendered fat to like cook other stuff later. Right? And so like if you can cook the bacon and there's almost like no more rendered fat on that bacon lift, it's just like a crispy piece of meat. With a little bit of fat still.
I don't think I've ever cooked. I think the last time I cooked bacon was probably in elementary school.
Oh.
Or intentionally ate bacon.
Oh, you know, dude, I remember we had a breakfast thing, Katie's breakfast at work. And I ate so much bacon.
It's so salty to me. And I also feel like if it's in any other dish, then it overpowers everything in the dish. So I usually just take it out.
So the problem for me at work is I'm cheap, right? So anytime there's free food, I'm like, oh, if I eat like my day's worth of calorie almost, then I don't have to eat for the rest of the day. Like literally the rest of the day, I'll just drink a protein shake. That's it, right? So that's
just drink water and think about the meal you had at 9 a.m.
But like legitimately, if I ate a lot in one meal, I literally don't feel like eating the rest of the day.
Fair. I do that too.
So whenever there's that option at work, oh dude, I ate so much bacon that day. It was ridiculous. And everyone's like, are you going for your third round of bacon? I was like, you guys bought too much bacon. I'm gonna help you. I'm helping you guys eat it all.
You guys should know I work here by now.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck.
You said you're feeding the staff? I am staff.
You know what's weird? I don't think anyone has yet to comment on me wearing the same colored shirt every day.
I feel like people don't actually pay attention to other people like that. Like if somebody asked me about what they wore yesterday, if you asked me, okay, because I'm intentionally paying attention to what you're wearing, I don't think I would specifically notice.
I only have like 5 things I wear anyway.
Oh yeah.
So it wouldn't be hard for you to guess anyway.
When we went to Sylvan Lake and you wore that red top, I was holy shit, what is this new top?
If you look in the chat, I wear that every Sylvan Lake day.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. You just haven't been to the other ones.
I haven't been to the last one.
Yes. And I literally bought that from Hawaii and I was like, this is the perfect time to use
Not your flower shirt. I recognize your flower shirt.
Oh, the red rash guard.
Yes.
Oh, I use that whenever I'm in the sun a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I had some bad experiences being sunburned. And I'm super lazy to put sunscreen on. So whenever I go anywhere that I'm gonna get a lot of sun.
You didn't have sunscreen at all on your face that day?
No, I didn't. I put it on my face.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just really annoyed to put it all over me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like if I was to go shirtless, then I have to like put it everywhere, right? So whenever it's sunny out, it's not that I don't like the sun. It's just I don't want to get like super burnt.
Baywatch time.
Yeah, so I just straight up wear a rash guard so I don't have to put that much sunscreen on.
Makes sense.
It's nice. It covers up all the way to my neck and then all the way up to my hand. Makes sense. I don't know if you noticed, like my hand's just darker now because of that. Like it's literally just my hand and then the rest is lighter. But
oh yeah,
but I actually naturalize my color very fast too, so it's hard to tell.
I can see it.
But usually if I'm out a lot, like if I'm working in the garden or anything like that, or landscaping or helping out at the temple, I'll usually wear a rash guard.
Interesting.
And it's just like it's just purely convenience.
Do you wear a giant Asian?
Yes, I have a gray one that goes all the way. It covers your ear.
Yeah, damn, nice.
It's literally have you ever had scalp burn?
No.
I think girls just don't tend to get it because they have thicker hair.
I heard that some girls get it on where they part their hair too, though.
Oh yeah, but as a guy, it's like pretty easy if you don't wear a hat. So I think the worst case I've had was in San Diego. So in San Diego, it's cloudy a lot of the times for some weird fucking reason, but the sun's still fucking crazy.
Interesting.
So you don't think about wearing a hat because it's cloudy, and then literally at the end of the day, you're like scratching your head all the time because you got a scalp burn.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe you have dandruff instead.
No, I'm pretty sure it's scalp burn. Because I wouldn't normally do that, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Anyways, we want to wrap it up. You want to say anything else?
Not really.
Yeah, it's kind of just a random one about food.
I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think if you guys like that game show idea, we can try it out on some friends.
All right.
And then we can pitch the pilot to whatever network.
TLC.
Yeah, I think it's a fucking amazing idea. I just want to see some people kill each other or just like juice up on Ozempic or something, you know? You know what I mean? Like, I can't eat this much. I'm just going to take all this Ozempic.
Don't worry, you can have all the meals today. I got my shot today.
Yeah, dude, that would be fucking wild. Like, I think Americans wouldn't appreciate that humor as much, but Europeans would soak that shit in.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, oh my God, that's so typical American.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fucking hilarious to them. You know what I mean? Oh, that'd be great.
This is my breakfast. It's coffee and a cigarette.
Yeah. Some Adderall, some coffee, some cigarette, and a shot of Ozempic. I'm good for the day.
Jesus Christ.
All right, anyways, we're going to end it off here. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for listening. Bye.